Hi crafters, it's Nicole and I'm happy to have you here for this fun Altenew release video hop. I saved my favorite project from the Storybook fantasy release to share with you today, and would you believe that it only takes about 5 minutes? You'll have a fantasy foliage card in no time. Altenew is sponsoring the hop, so don't forget to leave a comment and a thumbs up on this video to enter in the giveaway. 16 winners will be chosen at random from comments on all of the participating channels, so the more you comment, the more chances you have to win. Good luck! To start this project, the first thing I did was emboss a piece of cold press watercolor cardstock with the new Garden Harmony 3D embossing folder. By itself, this is an amazing look since the impressions are so deep, but we're going to turn this into a fantasy garden, so some ink dripping is totally in order. I have my flat brush from the new watercolor brush set and Evergreen and Forest Glades watercolor pans from the 36 watercolor pan set. I also have a paper towel to catch all of the drips that are going to happen. I'm starting with some clean water here to get the paper ready, and then I go back and forth between Forest Glades and Evergreen, adding random drips of color to the panel. The trick here is to not totally cover the panel with color. You want to see the drips and the white panel behind. I use the brush here to help the drips make it down the panel, especially because it's textured from that embossing folder. So once I have a good looking panel, I'll dry it with my heat tool. But until then, I'll add in some extra little drips there to make it look just the way I like. Are you enjoying this video? Then how about giving it a thumbs up? I'd really appreciate it. With the panel dry, I'm going to add in that fantasy look with gold heat embossing applied with water. Using a round brush, I'm flicking clean water onto the panel. Then I'll apply some gold embossing powder to see where it's going to stick. This is a great way to get an organic dripped look that will turn out different every time. I think I want just a little bit more gold, so I'm going to add a little bit more water at the bottom here, and then add some more embossing powder. And then this can be heat set as usual. It might take just a second longer to evaporate all the water, but it works just the same. In keeping with all the projects I did for this release, I'm adding in a sentiment from the Storybook Sentiment stamp set. It really pulls the fantasy look together. On a piece of green cardstock, I'll use the Enchanted gold pigment ink for stamping, mostly because I used it for my other projects and that's what I had out. But since it dries a little slower, the pigment ink is perfect for embossing with. Though it looks dark at the moment, after I heat set with the gold powder, that's going to stand out beautifully on the green background. Now I'm ready to put it all together. The background panel is looking gorgeous. I even overheated some of the embossing to give it a matte gold look in some places. It's attached to a white card base, so I just need to add the sentiment, which I thought would add some extra embellishment to. I have foam adhesive on the back of the embossed sentiment, and I'm going to add a swirl of enchanted gold thread for some extra shimmer. I like to split the 3 strands of the gold thread into individual strands to create a more delicate look. Then I wrapped it around a few fingers to make a circle, and then I'll fan it out on the foam adhesive strip for just the perfect look. I need to make just a few minor adjustments and make sure that those ends are tucked in and stuck to the adhesive. Then I'm going to add it to the card base here. I'm going to use my grid mat here to help make sure that everything is square, because you don't want to add that on and all of a sudden find out that your sentiment is a little wonky. So I use the grid to make sure that it's all square and press it in place. For a final touch, I'm going to add in some gold sequins. This is the antique gold sequins, and I do like to put them in a triangular pattern, pairing up the largest and the smallest sequins together. They adhere really well with the 2-in-1 glue pen, and it just takes a few minutes to dry. And that's all it takes to create a gorgeous fantasy foliage design. What caught your eye in this project? Was it the 3D embossing, the ink dripping, the water embossing, or maybe even the gold thread swirls? Maybe it was everything just put together. Let me know in a comment below. Don't forget to like and comment to enter the hop giveaway, and if you create a project inspired by this fantasy foliage, tag me on social media at Pixel Maven's Retreat to share your creation. Now it's time to hop along. I'll be back with more crafty inspiration soon, but until then, happy crafting. Help support my craft education efforts by giving this video a thumbs up and clicking on the subscribe button and bell so you'll get notified when I create new content just for you. If you're looking for some more crafty inspiration, how about one of these videos?